Hello and welcome to Cutting Words. I'm Brad Thompson and today we're going to talk about the 5 new spells that come in Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos, the latest book from Wizards of the Coast. I'll be listing these 5 spells off and talking about them in order that I rate them. So we're starting with the weakest spell all the way to the most powerful. Alright, so first up we have Vortex Warp, a 2nd level conjuration spell for the Artificer, Sorcerer, and Wizard. Vortex Warp has a casting time of 1 action, a range of 90 feet, components are verbal and semantic, duration is instantaneous, you magically twist space around another creature you can see within range. The target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, the target can choose to fail, or the target is teleported to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within range. The chosen space must be on a surface or in a liquid that can support the target without the target having to squeeze. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, the range of the spell increases by 30 feet for each slot above 2nd. Alright, so with Vortex Warp, we basically have like a baby version of the Scatter spell. So instead of targeting a group of people and moving around, you take this for 1, which could be an ally, to position them, or an enemy to move them elsewhere on the field. Though, with regards to that, a spell of the same level, Levitate, basically the same thing, if not better, as it lifts enemies up, and then they're stuck there. They can't do anything if they don't have a range attack, which most enemies don't. So I feel Vortex Warp doesn't really fill a great niche here, as Levitate kind of does it better with regards to targeting enemies, and it still will suck. Or if you want to move an ally, well, I mean, Thunderstep, Dimension Door, there are ways to move allies already in the game, and granted they're slightly high level, but not that much higher. And generally speaking, when you want to move someone, you kind of want to move with them anyway. So Vortex Warp, for me, is on the weak side, though I could see hilarious setups you could potentially do with it, though they require quite a bit of setup, and we could just cast Levitate and have a better effect than having to set up a whole scenario of surface you can teleport them onto and hopefully trap them in or whatever. You could just cast Levitate and it will do effectively the same thing for the most part. Yeah. Next we have Kinetic Jaunt, a transmutation spell of 2nd level for the Artificer, Bard, Sorcerer, and Wizard. Kinetic Jaunt is a bonus action to cast, range of south, components semantic, duration, concentration up to 1 minute. You magically empower your movement with dance-like steps, giving yourself the following benefits for the duration. Your walking speed increases by 10 feet, you don't provoke opportunity attacks, you can move through the space of another creature and it doesn't count as difficult terrain. If you end your turn in another creature's space, you are shunted to the last unoccupied space you occupied, and you take 1d8 force damage. Alright, with Kinetic Jaunt, it does do similar effects to a few other spells of the same rough level as well. Most notably, Misty Step. It does compete with Misty Step, and I feel you're always going to go with Misty Step. That even though Misty Step is a 1-use teleport, it is more useful and doesn't use up your concentration like Kinetic Jaunt does. So, Kinetic Jaunt has a bit of competition there with other spells. I feel it does its job better, though it does have an interesting combination of effects that are a bit different from the others, but end of the day, there are spells out there that just do things better. Even the Shaolin Stride, granted it is a 3rd level, I think is a bit more interesting than this one. So yeah, this one Kinetic Jaunt is at number 4. Wither in Bloom, a 2nd level necromancy spell on the Druid, Sorcerer, and Wizard spell list. Wither in Bloom is a 1 action to cast, range of 60 feet, components are verbal, semantic, and material. Duration is instantaneous. You invoke both death and life upon a 10-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. Each creature of your choice in that area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. Non-magical vegetation in that area withers. In addition, One creature of your choice in that area can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice, and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your spellcasting ability modifier. At higher levels, when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, the damage increases by 1d6 for each slot above 2nd, and the number of hit dice that can be spent and added to the healing roll increases by 1 for each slot above 2nd. So Wither and Blooms here, in the kind of middle of the pack here, is because it's quite interesting. They could present an option for wizards and sorcerers to have some healing, where typically they can't normally do that. And Wither and Bloom gives them an option on their spell list to give some healing, get an ally up on some health if they're down, as well as some AoE is always nice. But yes, mostly the fact that it's a healing spell. I mean, not the greatest healing spell, but some healing's better than none. So that is why it's middle of the pack, because okay, some healing on the wizard and sorcerer spell list. Granted, though, it is tricky with giving classes that don't normally be able to do something they can do now, and how it can step on other classes' toes, going, oh, okay, well, you can heal now. I mean, at least the healing's not great, so they're never going to replace the party cleric or what have you, but like a dedicated healer, but it's something to think about. Coming in at number 2, we have Borrowed Knowledge, a 2nd level divination spell for the Bard, Cleric, Warlock, and Wizard. Borrowed Knowledge is a casting time of 1 action, range of south, components are verbal, semantic, and material, a book worth at least 25 GP. Does not mention the book gets consumed, so you can keep reusing that book. Duration is 1 hour. You draw on knowledge from spirits of the past. Choose one skill in which you lack proficiency. For the spell's duration, you have proficiency in the chosen skill. The spell ends early if you cast it again. So Borrowed Knowledge is an interesting one. It's kind of like Enhanced Ability, but it doesn't have concentration. So you could stack with Enhanced Ability and suddenly go from being complete dunce at that particular skill to being absolute pro. You've got proficiency and advantage now. So you can restack those up, which is very cool, especially for those skills that no one ever takes or really come up. Though is another tricky one though, because if someone to play does have this skill and I can just do it with magic, but I've been trained my whole life to learn this nature skill, and the one time it comes up, you just cast a spell and do it too. It does have that problem of stepping over the party members' toes a bit. So it's an interesting one, but also it can be quite nice when no one does have that skill. So it's an interesting balance. It's definitely with these I can see this power creep and these new spells coming in now, trying to fill in more niches of what new spells to introduce that aren't being done already. Like a lot of these spells already so far have been a lot of double ups. Well, there's another spell where it does that, but kind of better, or just worded a bit differently. Very similar spells. So this one is very similar to Enhanced Ability, but different. But also, you have the problem of get too much overlap with other classes and other people's. If you step on other people's special and takes away from their special, potentially, there's always a risk there. Interesting spell nonetheless, and I can see it being very useful, and that's why it is the second best spell here. And finally, the number 1 spell, the best spell in this book, if not the entire game, we have Silvery Barbs, a 1st level enchantment spell for the Bard, Sorcerer, and Wizard. Silvery Barbs casting time is 1 reaction, which you can take when a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself succeeds on an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw. The range is 60 feet. Components are verbal. Duration is instantaneous. You magically distract a triggering creature and turn its momentary uncertainty into encouragement for another creature. The triggering creature must re-roll the d20 and use the lower roll. You can then choose a different creature you can see within range. You can choose yourself. The chosen creature has advantage on the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw it makes within 1 minute. A creature can be empowered by only 1 use of the spell at a time. Wow, this spell is so good. I didn't think we needed a better shield spell, but apparently we did. This spell cancels crits and cancels, not just in combat. You can cancel things, attack rolls in combat. You can cancel enemy saving throws for spells. You can cancel their ability checks. They try to insight you. No, reroll that again. You actually failed at insight. you can and give yourself or someone an advantage just because. The implications here are nuts, and it's so strong that even if this was a 3rd level spell, I'd still take it. This is 1st level spell. It's crazy. It actually competes with counterspell. So on counterspells and they have to do a roll with a high level spell, you can silvery barbs to get them to potentially fail that roll again. It cancels out, gets around advantage and disadvantage because it doesn't do anything with that. It's absolutely insane and completely game warping. And not the fact that it's just good, it's also just annoying as well. And kind of boring at the same time. I feel like I know I saw a few tweets where they mentioned that they were rushing to get the book out. Apparently there was some tight deadlines they had to meet and they had to rush. And I can only imagine that they just slipped through the cracks. Maybe they're over tweaking it and this version got through without them fully playtesting it or something. I know it's happened before. A memory of in Magic, I get flashbacks when I read this spell of back when I used to play Magic the Gathering quite a bit. When Skull Clamp first came out, I remember that being quite a debacle. And it feels similar to this. Yeah. I wonder how long it'll take for an errata to come out. But even then, I can't see what they'd do to it that I would allow at my table. Because, yeah, even if they up the casting level, I don't really like this ability in my game, honestly. It's just ridiculous. So, yeah, it's so good that this spell is banned from my table, that's for sure. It's crazy. And, like, it doesn't need to give out the advantage. Like, even if the advantage part to it, it's still good. Yeah. I just don't understand. Anyway, there you go. The story, Barbs. The greatest spell in the game of Dungeons and Dragons. Who controls the D20 is king. And yeah, this spell does it handedly. Okay. So we have it. Those are the 5 spells in Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos. DMs, even though there are spells in this book, is your table, your rules. You can rule what spells are allowed in your game. You could say Strixhaven book is Strixhaven specific and not have that. Or you can allow them, or you can pick and choose. Personally, I'd recommend not doing silvery barbs. I just feel like it's going to be a recipe for unfun for everyone. Even the player eventually, I feel like, just from overuse of silvery barbs, which again, it's so easy to get this spell added to your spell list because it's an enchantment spell. Many feats like Fey Touched can get the spell. It's very easy to splash and get on your spell list if you don't normally get it, although a lot of classes get it. It's just crazy. And yeah, I just feel, yeah, players will slowly regret it themselves, especially if the DM has NPCs with it too. Yeah, forget the spell exists. It is so good. It needs to go. All right. I'm Brad Thompson. This has been Cutting Words. If you like my channel and content, please consider subscribing. You get notified when the new videos come out, and it really helps the channel. Until next time, catch you around. See ya.